When you first realize this, it feels strange, as if the world you've been clinging to with nails and teeth crumbles in an instant. You notice people fading away, opinions losing weight, and things becoming just things. Nobody owes you anything, and you belong to no one, not even to yourself. The temporary self who lives on autopilot, gathering loans, fears, and plans, is frightened. A voice still echoes in your mind. What about responsibilities? What about family, debts, promises, work, stability? But look deeper. Do you truly believe you can hold on to all that? That your body will remain forever? Your home, your phone, your social media, and even your relatives. Yours? Nothing here belongs to you. Not a thing. Not even this body, its least. Not even the image you defend in conversations, argue over in comments, a temporary mask. When you realize that nobody belongs to you, you feel freer. You no longer have to suffer for someone else's script. You can be yourself. You can just breathe. You're not obligated to save everyone. You don't have to be perfect. You simply live. And sometimes you remember, you're not human. You're a player who chose this level. Sometimes it feels like you've had enough. You can't complete this level. You want to lie down and vanish, dissolve into darkness, so no one bothers you. You look at life as a prison, an endless stream of problems. But what if you remembered, even for a moment, that this game isn't about fun, but about choices, levels, tasks, challenges, and upgrades? Think of a child who loses a tough round on a console. He doesn't tear out his hair or cry, "Life is unfair." He just presses restart and plays again, with excitement, with fire in his eyes. That's you. You're not tired. You just forgot. You haven't lost. You just paused. When someone says, "I want out of the matrix, I want to disappear, I want it all to end," they forget the main thing. You came here yourself, voluntarily, out of thrill, curiosity, the desire to complete this level. You chose these conditions, these decorations, this mission, and yes, your memory has been turned off, but not erased. It's somewhere in memories, dreams, random sensations. In that moment when you hear someone's voice and get chills. In that encounter when you look at each other and it feels like you remember, but can't explain how. You're not asleep, you just forgot temporarily. And now the invitation is here to remember, without pressure, without obligations. But if you're ready, you will remember. And then the heaviness lifts. You stop carrying the world on your shoulders. You begin to play. Turns out life isn't a struggle. It's not about conquering, surviving, or earning. Life is simply being. But here's the problem. You were taught the opposite from childhood. First, you must be good, then you must be needed, then indispensable. And after that, you find yourself exhausted on the kitchen floor at 3 a.m. thinking, when do I leave? We were taught to solve other people's problems, to save, to endure, to carry the load. We take pride in enduring pain, not crying, not complaining, but just tell, nobody taught us to wake up with a smile. Nobody said, if you feel good, that's enough. You don't owe suffering to anyone. You don't have to be strong. You don't have to save the entire world. You have the right not to solve, sometimes to let go, sometimes not to intervene, sometimes to choose yourself. Do you know what life looks like when you step out of the savior script? You stop solving other people's dramas. You stop listening to endless complaints. You no longer burn out in relationships that zero you out. You no longer cling to what has long since died. You inhale, you breathe, you live, and something strange happens. The world doesn't fall apart. Life continues just as it was. And you, for the first time in a long time, begin to feel alive. Many people think the greatest punishment is love. Love is pain, love is suffering. True love always comes with torment. But let's be honest, that's not love. It's dependency. What you call love is often just attachment to parents, to their pain, to unreceived affection, love. You don't love the person, you love the void they happen to feel when you weren't hugged, when your father left, when your mother loved you only if you were convenient. That's the source of your greatest suffering. You're not falling in love, you're looking for someone to plug the hole. And that hole isn't about feelings, it's about survival, about finally being needed, loved, recognized, about not being abandoned, about someone, at least one person staying. But that's not love, that's thirst. A hungry soul grabbing at crumbs, and you call that love? Remember, love begins where you begin. When you choose yourself, when you feel yourself, when you don't need anyone to feel alive. And then that's when the person appears. Not a savior, not a martyr, not a crutch, but someone just like you. Whole, strong, real. Because a strong spirit is like a light, and it draws others to it. But parasites cannot withstand that light. They try to take, and failing to feed, they leave. You're not obligated to be fodder for someone else's drama. You're not required to endure. Love isn't about sacrificing yourself. It's about creating yourself. And that's not selfish. It's maturity. When you choose to be, not to save, to live, not to suffer, to not fear solitude, to appreciate silence, then and only then does someone appear who won't destroy you, but will stand beside you in the flow, not in pain. So love is not suffering. Love is you, and everything else will live on its own because it can no longer coexist with you. They taught us since childhood to find our other half. Half? Who even divided us? It was a lie. You are not a half. You were never part of something. Love isn't about two pieces coming together. Love is about the whole you. When you're whole, you don't need someone to complete you. You don't seek a savior. You don't suffer from loneliness. You don't sit waiting for the one. You are already full, and from that fullness, real love is born, free, without fear, without pain, without need. Love isn't about reciprocity. It isn't about clinging. It's about choosing yourself every day, and everything else that's just experience. Sometimes people come to break us, to show us where we forgot ourselves, where we became someone else's half again. But it's not a mistake. It's part of the game. Try for once not to follow the script, to the same muse, same phrase that usually sets you off. Respond differently, not out of habit or autopilot, but by choice. Run an experiment. Turn right if you always went left. Stay silent if you used to shout. Walk away if you used to stay. It doesn't have to be right, but it will be free. It will be conscious. Yes, it's a game. You are a player, and there is no guaranteed ending like in a movie. They don't even guarantee that when it's over, you won't come back into the same game, a similar scenario, the same body with the same fear. But that's the point. You're not here because you got stuck. You're here because your soul chose to go through this. A difficult path with parents, with pain, with recurring lessons, and all of it not punishment, but experience. Sometimes you think, I don't want to be here. How do I escape? The exit isn't outside, it's inside. You're not a victim, you're a screenwriter, but so far you've been reciting lines written by others. And I know, because I was there too. I lived by the matrix. I screamed, argued, tried to prove, reacted to everything that pulled my emotions. But one day, I fell silent. I simply stopped supporting other people's script. And then, for the first time, my life started writing my own texts. Don't want to respond? Don't. Want to walk away in silence without explanations? Do it. You don't owe anyone a word. You're not half of someone else's game. You're a top-level player. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing awareness. I'm with you. We are together. Until the next round.